What's going on, guys? TaxHD here with my first roster review of NHL 25. Now, EA actually released an earlier roster update back in November, but they didn't tell anybody about it. There was no social post. You'd have had to actually go and look at the player ratings to know. So unfortunately, I just missed out on that one. Obviously, I've been using and working on a custom roster with Vasi and Tugi. But if you guys want to download the most recent one, it is this online roster here from December 17th. And like I mentioned too, on November 20th, they actually did update some player ratings, but they didn't tell anybody. So I guess when I'm going through and reviewing the new ratings, I'll also touch on some of the changes they made last month. Again, I'm not sure why they didn't tell anybody about that. I just thought it was a transaction thing until like a week or so later when somebody said, hey, did you notice the ratings changed? So apologies for that. But starting out here, guys, with the Anaheim Ducks, obviously Jacob Trouba traded over there. You can see his rating's 85. I don't think that's been touched. I think that's a bit high for Jacob Trouba. Probably should be like 83, 84, but of course with really good physical stats. Now going through the rest of the players here, you got McTavish, who's actually dropped in rating by 1 from 85 to 84. Zellweger here is up by 1 from 83 to 84. Now in November, he definitely got a boost because I think last I saw he was like 77 or something, so they gave him a big boost, playing regular NHL minutes. I think 84 though is kind of crazy for Zellweger. He's got like 10 points on the season. Obviously, I would have an elite potential instead of medium top 4, but 84 overall already, I think that's a bit too high. He hasn't really shown me he's quite that good yet. I'd probably have him at like an 82, but again, elite potential. Strom here also dropped in rating by 1. I don't think they touched Gudis there. Carlson, Mitakov. I'm looking at my sheet. Dumoulin here has dropped in rating by 1, now an 82. Still should be solid defensively. I think, honestly, Dumoulin could be an 83. One of those, defensive defensemen who I think often kind of gets overlooked. Goalie, medium elite. Zegras, they actually dropped to low elite. Interesting. He was medium elite before. I'd probably leave Zegras at medium elite still. Obviously, having a couple down years. But if you're going to have him 82, I think him being lower rated with elite potential is fine. Faber here as well. They dropped by 1 and now an 81. And then Jackson Lacombe here is actually up in rating, which makes sense. He was playing top pair there for a bit. And I believe that is it for the Anaheim Ducks. Moving on now, guys, to the Boston Bruins. David Pastrnak here actually down in rating by 1, now at 94. So after him, was no changes. So Elias Lindholm, who's down in rating by 1 from 85 to 84. I feel like Lindholm being an 85 still is probably fine. Zadorov there is not changed. Pavel Zacha is down in rating by 1 from 85 to 84 as well. I know Tyler Johnson, I think we'll see, is still on the team. He definitely should not be wherever he shows up. Now, they did increase Brazo's rating here, now an 82. He was an 81, so just by 1. Same goes for Lowry, up to an 82, playing solid top 6 minutes. I think, too, he didn't have a face before, and now he does have that headshot, which is nice to see. Beecher there, no change. Kostelic, up in rating by 1, now an 81. As I mentioned, Tyler Johnson shouldn't be on the team. They've let him go. And then Koepka here actually up by rating, now a 79. And now next year, guys, look at the Buffalo Sabres. No change to the top dogs, Dahlin, Thompson, even Alex Tuck. Paterka here, I think, also is still 86. Byram there, still 86. I think that's a bit high on him, but I would have him at high top 4D potential. Even Owen Power being 86 seems probably a touch high based on, what he's accomplished. Jason Zucker here is up in rating by 1, now an 85. Cousins is down by 1, though, to an 84. Samuelson here I don't think's been touched. 82 is probably fine for him. I want to see. They've actually downgraded a couple other guys, though. Now, Peyton Krebs here is actually up in rating by 1, now an 81. Doki Harju, they dropped by 1 to 81. Same goes for Jack Quinn. I would have Jack Quinn high top 6. And then I think also Sam Lafferty here dropped in rating by 1 to an 80. And I believe that is it there for the Buffalo Sabres. Next year, guys, we have the Calgary Flames. Definitely like a surprise team to start the year. I think they've kind of started to come back to reality. Personally, I don't really see them as a playoff team. Now, they have had some changes. Nothing to the top guys. Anderson, Weegar, Huberdeau. I mentioned, I think, beginning of the year how I thought Huberdeau definitely should not have been the same rating. Or maybe he was even lower rated than Sharon Govich. Shows I was right. Sharon Govich is now down to an 83. I'm not so sure what that contract they gave him. Last year, I think his shooting percentage was quite high. This year, back to reality, even probably worse than reality. So we'll see what happens with him. Maybe it's just a down year. Kuzmenko here as well, dropped in rating down to an 83. I think Backlund's the same. Ball here actually is up in rating by 1, now an 82. Same goes for Matt Coronado, now an 82. After that, I think Jake Bean here is up by 1 to an 81. Same goes for Hanley. He's now a 78. I believe that is it there. Or sorry, guys, Hanley's actually down in rating by 1 from 79. And then Kirkland here is up by 1 to a 78. And now next year, guys, look at the Carolina Hurricanes. They've had a bunch of upgrades. The first one here, Natchez, up from an 89 to a 91. Now, 89, I think, was the previous upgrade. I want to say he started the year at like an 87. Obviously, Natchez, huge start to the season. He's already at like 44 points, which I think is 9 away from his last season total. I will say, I think, I know, they want to have the ratings reflect the real-life NHL, but I think, a 91 for a guy who's had a really hot 30 games to start the season is a bit too high when you look at, the rest of his career there, season high 71. When you look at these, obviously, you're not thinking 91 overall. Even if you add in the 44 points in 30 games this year, I think 91's a little bit crazy. I think 89 for him would have been fine. And obviously, if he keeps this up, throughout the season, then you can give him that bigger boost. Maybe, you know, I'm just, you know, different the way I look at the ratings, but I do think you want to, like, just kind of use right now to give them a bit of a boost, but don't give them a super boost, especially 30 games into the year. Like, you're not even halfway. Who knows if they'll slow down. Now, Orlov here's gotten a +1, now an 86. I think that's fine. Same with Gossesbear, playing really well as a Revving fan. That hurts to see. Brent Burns there's actually down in rating by 1 to an 85. Roslovich got a +1 and now an 84. I'm trying to see who else here. Robinson got a +1, now an 82. I want to say Jack Drury actually went down in rating by 1 to an 80. I think Blake there got a +1 to 79. And that is it for the Canes. And now next you guys got the Chicago Blackhawks. Connor Bedard here dropped a rating by 1 from an 88 to 87. I think at the beginning of the year I said 88 was probably a bit too high for Bedard to start out. So 87 definitely makes more sense. Obviously, I would definitely leave him at franchise potential. Terry Vinen here down in rating by 1 from 85 to 84. That's fine. Vlasic's got a +1 upgrade, 83. I said how I think he should be like an 84. Like, he's very good defensively, which they do have really good defensive stats there, but honestly, like, they could bump that up even more. He was too low rated to start the year. I think Bertuzzi got a downgrade by 1, now an 83. Donato actually got a +1. Hull there, I think, got a -1 last roster update. After that, I think Kershev as well down by 1, and they made him a low top 6. Probably could have left him medium top 6, I think. Looking at the rest of it here, Craig Smith got a +1, now an 80. And I think that is it for the Blackhawks. And now next year, guys, we have the Colorado Avalanche. Only a few rating changes for them. No change to McKinnon. McCarr there as well, still a 95. Am I crazy for thinking McCarr could probably get a +1 and be a 96? Like, I think he's honestly just that good. Leading defenseman in points, also so sound defensively. I'm of the mind he could end up being the best defenseman we've ever seen in the NHL. Obviously, time will tell. I'm a big Lidstrom guy. Of course, you got Bobby Orr. But McCarr, you know, his trajectory is potentially best ever defenseman. Rankin here, he actually got a +1, now a 94. He should have been 94 to start. After that, Samuel Girard got a +1, now an 87. I think Girard's a pretty good defenseman, but I do not think he deserves 87 overall. That is crazy. Decent start to this year. I think he's got like 14 points or something, maybe 16, so almost as many as he had last year, but still puts him on like a similar pace to the season before that. I don't think he was 87, 2 years ago. This one seems a bit high. I'm not really sure the logic behind that. Atlantis Collier, of course, should be on LTIR until he comes back. Just makes the roster work better. Miles Wood here, they actually gave a downgrade to from an 82 to 81. And I believe that is it for the Avalanche roster. And now next year, guys, look at the Columbus Blue Jackets. Definitely a team that's doing better than I expected this year. I think, a lot of people expect them to be basement of the Metro Division. They're actually, pretty competitive. Zach Greinke here starting us off actually got a +1 rating from 88 to 89. I personally believe Greinke could be even higher rated than that, like probably a 90s fair. Also, too, definitely give him a zone ability if he's that high rated of a defenseman. I think for him, they're definitely missing out on Heat Seeker. He's got a really, good shot. A lot of times he's just taking a wrister from back there, so I guess that's why they have, the CNI, but add Heat Seeker too. Marchenko here up to an 86. So this one's kind of nuts, but he actually is a point per game this season. Last year as well, he had a pretty good year, 42 and 78. 86. It does seem a tad high. I'd probably have him 85. Provorov, I don't think there's a change. Monahan got a +1, now an 85. He's looked really good this year, so I think that's fair. Kent Johnson as well, now an 85. Might be a tad high. I'd probably have him like 84. Chinikov here, I think actually no change. A lot of the Russians in this team, though, did get bumped. Fantilli here actually got downgraded from 85 to 84. He's been kind of slow, so that's fine. Voronkov got a +1, now an 83. Fabro, of course, on the team after getting picked up off waivers. Cylinder there got a +1, now an 82. Definitely could give him a medium top 6 potential. I'm not really sure why it's lower. JVR there, they dropped it by rating by 1 to an 81. I think Olivier here actually got a +1, now an 80. Obviously, pretty good fourth liner for them. Jordan Harris probably bumped his potential a bit to like high top 6. And I think that is it for the Blue Jackets. Actually, Christensen there got a +1. And then, yeah, that is it for the CBJ. And now Dallas here, guys, obviously a pretty good team, so it's kind of surprising. They've actually got more downgrades than upgrades. So going through here, Robertson got dropped by 1 to 89. I have him fantasy, so I can definitely, say he's been underperforming this year based on what you expect. Hence as well, dropped in rating by 1 to an 88. Now Duchesne's up in rating. He's leading the team in scoring. That makes sense. Now an 88. What a good signing it was for him. Thomas Harley here, still an 87. I don't think there's any change. He probably should be downgraded. Like, this is what he was to start the year, I want to say. It's too high rated. Like, he had a really good season last year, but again, this is why you don't want too much recency bias. 47 points, 79 games last year. This year, he's not on pace for that at all. 87 overall. Like, I don't know. That just seems insane to me. Asa Lindell, there's an 86. You got Sagan there as well. We had a really good start to the year. I feel like they probably upgraded him in the last roster update, as I remember him being like an 85, I think, to start the year. Same with Marchman here, 86. He was not this high rated to start the season. I think that's also probably a tad high. I'd have him like 85 max. Wyatt Johnson there downgraded from 86 to 85. I'm fine with 85. Could even make him an 84, but give him elite potential. Like, he's one of the best, young players in the game. I think that'd reflect that, especially, Stankoven there is also an 85 with elite potential. Stankoven's got elite potential. Johnston needs it as well. And again, you got, like, kind of the same rating here when Johnston last year was a much better player. I don't know. For me, I'd probably have Johnston higher rated, so Stankoven would be like an 84, I think, just because, again, Johnston did it the entire last season. That's my logic. If anyone feels differently, that is fine. After that, I think the only changes are Matt Dumba there, down in rating by 1 to 82. And then where is he? Oscar back here, up in rating by 1 to a 78. And now next, you guys got my Detroit Red Wings. It's kind of funny. I'm looking at the ratings. Basically, all the veterans, aside from Larkin, have dropped in rating, and all the young guys are up, which kind of shows you where the team should be heading. But for some reason, we keep signing overpaid veterans. So no change to Larkin. Raymond, though, up in rating by 1 from an 88 to 89. I thought beginning of the year, 88 was a bit high. Now he's 89. I don't know. I'd probably have him 88. I don't want to. Maybe I'm being like, too cautious with him. Sider's rating there, I think, is fine. Same with the Brinket. Kane, they dropped by 1 to 86. Honestly, he should have been an 86 to start the season, maybe even 85. Like, he's basically an all-offense guy, which they do have defensive awareness there quite low. But Edmondson after him, 83 overall. Again, probably maybe a tad high just based on, being so early in his NHL career, I think. 82 probably is good. Now, surprisingly, no change to Andrew Kopp, JT Comfort. Tarasenko's down in rating by 1 from an 84 to 83, which makes sense. Petrie's also down by 1 to 82. Same with Gustafsson. He was too high rated to begin with anyways. And then I think, where is he? Marco Kasper here, up in rating by 2 from a 77 to a 79. Definitely makes sense, playing more NHL minutes. Also, they got in there with elite potential, which is nice to see. Now, a guy like Jonathan Bergen here, 79 overall, low top sticks. Definitely make him a medium. He's only 24, so he's only got a couple years left to grow. If you actually want him to grow it all in franchise, the low top 6 will not work. And now this is kind of surprising, guys. I'm looking at the Edmonton Oilers here. They actually have no ratings upgrades, even though they're playing fine right now. They have a few guys, though, going down. So the first is Matthias Ekholm here, down from an 88 to an 87. I don't think Ekholm's doing that bad this year. Maybe I'm wrong. Oilers fans, let me know. But yes, that's what I mean. Like, Ekholm, I think, 1-to-1 is a better defenseman than Samuel Girard. Also a better defenseman than Thomas Harley. Both those guys, I mean, Harley put up more points last year. This year, it's probably, like, similar production. Same with Girard. I don't think he's, like, blowing him away at all in terms of the points. And Ekholm's much better defensively. So that's where the ratings, I don't know. I think, they lose me a little bit. After that, Jeff Skinner's down in rating to 83, which makes sense. I'm not having as good of a year as he'd hoped with the Oilers. And then finally, it's Derek Ryan here, down in rating to a 78, which is fine. He's a fourth-line center guy. Also, two guys should mention, Kasperi Kapanen, of course, now added to the team. And our next year, guys, we got the Florida Panthers. So Alexander Barkov there, still in 95. I think that's what he was to start the year, maybe 94. Either way, probably fine with it. Maybe a 94 for Barkov. Matthew Tkachuk here's actually up in rating by 1 from a 92 to 93. I think, they downgraded Tkachuk after last year. Now he's back up to 93. I'm fine with that. After that, Sam Reinhart here, also up in rating by 1 from a 92 to 93. I like Reinhart. I think 93 is a bit crazy for him. He's a player, like, when I look at 93 overall, to me, that's like a franchise player. They'll come in, they'll lead your team, they'll produce no matter what. So that's a guy like Tkachuk. Did it in Calgary, went to Florida and did it. Barkov, of course, has done it in Florida. Sam Reinhart was not that player in Buffalo. I think if you were to trade Reinhart right now to, say, like, the Anaheim Ducks, he's not going to perform anywhere close to what he's doing right now. And even saying that, looking at his production right now, he's got like 20 goals. There's a lot of guys with similar stats to him that aren't as high rated. So I think the 93 on him is a little bit crazy. Also, too, like, look at his X factors. He's got the close quarter zone ability, big tipper. They still have him as a playmaker. This guy is clearly a sniper. Don't quite understand that one. Now, only a few changes here for the Panthers. The core players there, nothing done. We actually have to go down here a little bit. Adam Boakfist down from 82 to 81. Honestly, could probably even make him like an 80. I wouldn't mind him still having like lowly potential though, just to maybe potentially pop off if he has a good season. And then finally, down here, Samoskevich, he got a +2, now a 78, which is good to see. And next up here, guys, we're looking at the LA Kings. They've had a ton of young players go up in rating. No changes, honestly, for any of the vets, I think. Even Kevin Fiala, kind of a down year, but I want to say he started out like 87 at least, so they probably dropped him. He's the guy, too. Should be a playmaker, not a sniper, so some of these player types definitely could use some work. The first change here, Quentin Byfield down from 85 to 84. Definitely having a bit of a slump this season. Brent Clark here up to an 84. I think, again, that's probably a little bit high. Should be like an 82 with, of course, elite potential still. Perrier here up to an 83. He's having a really good season. I think 83 is probably fine. Maybe an 82, but obviously nothing too crazy. Spencer's also up in rating and now an 82. And then I think the last change here is actually going to be Alex Turcotte up in rating to a 79. Another guy, former 5th overall pick. Could probably have him at lowly potential, although medium top 6. Honestly, might make him grow more in the franchise anyways. And next up here, guys, we got the Minnesota Wild. Kaprizov's now 95 overall. So unlike Reinhart, I do think, Kaprizov carries a team for sure. I think 95, though, is probably a little bit high on him. I want to say if Mikko Rantanen was a 94, I'd probably have, yeah, he was. I'd have Kaprizov the same rating, 94 as well. I think those two are on like the same tier. Like they're super good wingers. To me though, like that centerman does the extra stuff, which makes them kind of higher rated because, they're more responsible defensively. Usually too, your centers are just your prototypical franchise players, your Crosby, McKinnon, McDavid, etc. Ovechkin, of course, would maybe be the exception. Now, after Kaprizov there, we got the +1. We're going to have to go down here a little bit. Marco Rossi got a +1, now 85. I want to say it was top 6 before, but maybe I'm wrong thinking of our roster. Middleton here up to an 85. Obviously, very solid defensive defenseman. You guys can see that there with those stats. Gaudreau there is also up in rating, now an 83. I'm trying to think who else. Just Chisholm here, as well too. Ryan Hartman there, down in rating by 1. And I just mentioned his name. Where is he? Chisholm got a +1 and now a 78. And of course, too, guys, David Jarachek now in the Minnesota Wild. 82 overall elite potential. He's a guy like probably could be 80, 81, but of course, leave him elite there because on Columbus he was scratched a bit. I don't know, 82. Probably high. And now next year, guys, got the Montreal Canadiens. No change to Nick Suzuki. I will say, though, it should definitely be a two-way forward. Like, there's a reason the guy's got the no contest zone ability. He's got quick pick there as well. Again, just some of these player types, I don't know what they're thinking. So Fukoski here actually down a rating by 1 to 85. I thought 86 was too high for him anyways to start the year, so this is more fair. Even like an 84. Again, a couple years where they're like decent, especially with lead potential. I'd rather like underrate the guys. That way they kind of grow more naturally in franchise opposed to just immediately spiking, becoming a superstar. But there's been no indication of that happening in real life. After that, Lane Hudson here, also an 85 now. He's gone up in rating though from 84. Solid playmaker there. Looking at this season, I don't think I'd have him 85 quite yet. I know he's got a lot of assists, but if you look at it like defensively, could be a lot better. He probably does not deserve the 87 D awareness yet. Hopefully, Canadiens fans are fine with me saying that. I think for him, 83, 84, but of course, elite potential still. Patrick Laine, 85, I don't think's been touched. He's been on fire though to start the year. I think averaging about a goal a game, so love seeing that from Laine coming back from the injury. After that, I think Jake Evans here is up in rating by 1 to an 83. The only downgrades from Montreal, I think, were Sikorsky, Kirby Dach here as well, from 84 to 83. And then I think Alex Newhook here too, from 82 to 81. Now, Justin Barron here, of course, was just traded to the Nashville Predators for Alexander Carrier. So, unfortunately, this roster was made before that trade happened. And then I think the last change here is going to be a small one. Heineman up in rating by 1 from a 77 to a 78. And now, speaking of the Nashville Predators, guys, like the Edmonton Oilers, they have no ratings upgrades, but they're last place in the NHL. So, it makes sense for them. The Oilers, I think, kind of getting screwed there. So, first things first, you got Forsberg dropped by 1. After him, Stamkos there dropped by 2. Again, another guy having fantasy, he probably should be 87. Seems maybe a tad harsh again for a slump here, 30 games in, but I wouldn't have him higher than 88. Marchessault there keeps his 87. I think no change to Shea. Ryan O'Reilly's gone down by 1 to 85. Nyquist down by 1 to 84. Obviously, he popped off last year. Not having that season this year, like definitely not hitting 75 points. Evangelista doesn't change. I'm trying to see. It looks like a lot more of the veteran guys. Thomas Novak there dropped by 1. Alexander Carrier, who I just mentioned, got traded. He also dropped by 1 to an 81. Jeremy Lozon as well. He might be in the AHL. He's down by 1. Also Parsons here. He dropped by 1 and 80. So I think half this team is dropped in rating. And now next up here, guys, we got the Devils. No change to Jack Hughes. 94 high elite, I think is fine. Jesper Bratt here is now at 91. So he's a guy like, I don't know, 91 seems kind of crazy. I know right now he's averaging, I think, over a point per game. Last year had a really good season, right on a point per game. The 2 years before that, 70s. 91 though, I don't know, that seems kind of high to me. Maybe I'm wrong. Devils fans, let me know. In my mind, I think of Bratt, he's like an 89 to 90. So obviously only a little bit lower, but it just, when you start getting up to the higher ratings, every one overall is kind of like even a bigger difference than say like an 82 to 83. 90 to 91 matters a lot more, especially in terms of the trade value. After that, I think the only changes are actually kind of lower rated players. All these guys are staying the same. So we'll have to go down here to Stefan Noesen up to an 84. He's a guy just randomly having a solid year. Having said that, does he deserve the 84? I don't know. Like, he was kind of a nothing player until 30 games this year. I'd probably have him like 82 max, but again, willing to, hear other opinions. Kovacevic here as well, up in rating by 1, now an 82. And then I think they got a couple downgrades. Andre Palat's down to an 80. Makes that contract look so tough. $6 million still for 3 more years. Shout out to Deke. I know he loved when they signed this guy, but unfortunately not looking like the greatest contract. And then the other downgrade here, Curtis Lazar, down by 1 as well to a 79. And I think that is it for the Devils. And now the New York Islanders here, guys, who are kind of underperforming this season, surprisingly have no downgrades. They've only got 2 upgrades. I feel like the Islanders almost never get touched. Whoever does these ratings, I don't think cares about the Islanders much. So going through here, I'll try and see if there's anybody who I've noticed change from the start of the year. Tispakov did just get changed in this roster. He got a +1 now in 83. I know to start the year he was like a 79, maybe an 80, so he's definitely been upgraded a couple times. Makes sense. Like, he's playing in the top 6. You knew he deserved at least a low 80. And then after him, Holmstrom as well. He got a +1 now in 82. He's another guy I think's been upgraded a couple times. I want to say he started out the year at a 79, but again, only changes there for the Islanders. Now the Rangers here, of course, have been making some trades, so those guys should be gone. We'll take a look at Zibanejad. So Panarin's still 95, Fox there at 92. I think Fox is better than this. I think he deserves at least a 93, if not a 94. Seems underrated, but as I mentioned, Zibanejad down by 1, now in 88. Let's see, Trocheck, Lafreniere the same. Kreider's down by 1, now in 86. Will Cooley, huge upgrade, now in 85. So Cooley there, the same rating as Wyatt Johnston. I mean, they play together on the Spits, both very good, but Johnston definitely the better player. Last year, much better. Like, Cooley had, 21 points. This year, let me pull this up. Alright, guys, this kind of shows how the ratings just don't make sense to me, and there's way too much recency bias. Wyatt Johnston last year had 65 points in 82 games. This year, he's got 19 and 31, which is, solid, not amazing. Will Cooley last year had 21 points in 80 games, so a third of the amount of points, and he's got 23 and 31 this year. So he's got 4 extra points this year, had 40 less last year in an entire season, only last year, not that long ago, and these guys have the same rating. That doesn't make any sense to me. That's like weighting the 30 games this year at 90% of the rating grade. I think that's just way too much. Potential-wise, though, high top 9. At this point, you might as well bump it up to medium top 6, but it doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Again, if people feel differently, let me know. I just think way too much recency bias. Braden Schneider here on the Rangers, I think got to upgrade last update because he did not start the year at 85. That seems probably a little bit high. I think Condre Miller is the better defenseman. Ryan Lindgren as well, I think, is better. So Schneider should probably be an 83. Rangers fans, if I'm wrong on that, though, let me know. And I think the only change here, guys, in this roster update, again, there could be some changes from last one. Capo Caco needs to be moved, of course. I thought they got that in, but Zach Jones there got a +1 and now an 80. And I believe that is it for them. And now look at the Ottawa Senators here, guys. You got Tim Stützle at 89 overall with highly potential, so no change for him. I will say, though, when you look at the other players' ratings, Stützle's kind of getting screwed here. He's averaging over a point per game this season. When you look at the other over a point per game players this year, they're pretty much all 90 pluses if they've had good seasons in the past. Last year, Stützle had 70 and 75, almost a point per game. The year before that, he had 90. Based on EA's logic, this guy should be at least a 90, if not 91, so that's kind of interesting to see. Babson here actually got a +1, now an 87. Shabbat there, 86. I think might have gotten downgraded in the last roster update. This one, they don't have him listed. Giroux, though, did go down by 1, now an 86. Take a look here and see the rest. I want to say Pinto's down by 1, was an 83, and now an 82. And then I think the last upgrade here is actually going to be Adam Gaudette. Of course, kind of scoring at will right now for the Senators. So crazy. He's got 2 assists and 12 goals, so super interesting. He's now an 80. I know he's a guy a lot of people said I had underrated in our roster, but until this year, you can look at his stats, that's AHL numbers. I don't think, this is going to be sustainable, but an 80, it's whatever. I think that's fine. A stop check there, 75 also could probably be a bit higher. And now next year, guys, with the Philadelphia Flyers with a ton of changes, so hopefully I can get all these. Travis Konecny's up by 1 to 89. Some people are saying he might play first line on the Canadian Four Nations Cup team with McDavid and Reinhart, so I think that's pretty telling. People think he's definitely elevated his game. Matvei Michkov, this one is super interesting. 87 overall already. Playing really well. He's averaging almost a point per game, not quite, through the first, 30 games of the season. I know for me, I think Michkov's a sniper. Some people say he could be a playmaker. I think you look at scouting reports, everyone says, Michkov's shots so dangerous, things like that. I would personally change him to that. Also, in terms of the rating, 87 overall, I think that's too high. I think in our roster, we had him at 82 overall to start the year, and people were saying, oh, he hasn't even played an NHL game yet. 82 is way too much. 30 games in, he's down 87, and the same people are probably going to be fine with this. I think that's just way too much, especially just the way franchise works. He'll be a 95 in 2 years. Is he going to be a 95 in 2 years in real life? Probably not. So you want to kind of adjust your ratings accordingly. I think I've mentioned that a lot. Probably repeating myself, but I just think some of these make no sense. Michkov, I think 84 would be very fair, especially with such good potential. Travis Sanheim, 87, did get a +1, so good for him. Couturier, I think he got downgraded in the last update from an 86. Tippett here actually got downgraded this time from 86 to 85. Cam York, no change. Scott Lawton as well, no change. I want to see Brink's the same. Joel Farabee here got downgraded to 82 from 83. I think he was actually like 84 to start the year, so probably a double downgrade. Drysdale here as well, downgraded again to 82. He should probably be like a 80, 81, and also I would have him at lowly potential instead of the medium elite. Frost 32. I would not give Frost medium elite potential. I'm not sure how he got that. Doesn't really make a ton of sense to me. I'm trying to find, there's one more player here. Actually got a pretty big upgrade, +4 for the Flyers. Let's see, we'll go through the rest here. Andre from a 75 to a 79, plus medium top 4 potential, so that's actually quite significant. As you can have him in your top 6 to start franchise, and he'll start to grow right away. Also, 2 guys I missed him, but Eric Johnson here down by 1 from 82 to 81. And I look at the Pittsburgh Penguins next year, guys. Less changes than I expected, because obviously their team in a bit of turmoil. Now, they didn't touch the top players at all, which is probably fine. I think for the most part, they're all doing all right. So the first change is going to be Kevin Hayes. He's down by 1 from 84 to 83. Bunting as well is down by 1. Same with Ryan Graves. I think that's actually all the downgrades. Then it's just a couple small updates here. So you got Lizotte there, up by 1 to an 80, and then also to Puljujarvi, he's up by 1 to a 79. So player type wise, Puljujarvi's definitely not a sniper anymore. He should be a 2-way forward with much better defensive stats than that, but I do think, he deserved the upgrade. Owen Pickering there, maybe even bump up a couple. And now next you guys are the San Jose Sharks. Kind of crazy. They're a team that's, bombed the NHL, and they're basically got all upgrades except for one player, who I'll show you guys at the end. He's one of the lower rated guys. So starting off, Granlund got a +1, now an 87. Wallman got a +1, now an 86. As a Red Wings fan, seeing Wallman, Gostisbehere, go up in rating this year, it hurts so much. I think Wallman, too, got upgraded in that, secret update in November, because I want to say he was, 82, maybe 83 to start the year, so pretty impressive, obviously. Happy for him. Celebrini here got a +3, up from an 83 to 86. He's looked really good. I think his production is, the same as Michkov's, though, so it's interesting to me the centerman is lower rated by 1, but I thought Michkov should have been, an 84 max. I kind of think the same for Celebrini. I think 84, especially 30 games into the rookie season, is more than enough. If by the end of the year he's still a point per game, then we can, give him that higher rating. Couture there definitely should be on LTIR. Will Eklund here got a +1, now an 85. Zetterlund got a +2, up to an 84. I'm trying to think. There's a couple more upgrades here. Will Smith got a +1, and now an 82. And then the only downgrade on this team, a bit further down here, Ty Dellandrea there, dropped from an 80 to a 79. Probably could also drop his potential there to a medium top 9 or something. But pretty impressive for the Sharks. Again, a team not doing great, and they pretty much only have upgrades. Now next year, guys, Seattle Kraken. They got a good mix here. So starting off with Vince Dunn, he's now tied with Brandon Montour for the highest rated player on the team, as he got a +1 rating, now an 88. Personally, I think Dunn was the better defenseman anyways. I think Montour definitely benefited from, playing on Florida, which we've kind of seen this year. So I think that's fine. I do think it's weird that they gave him an upgrade after he's been out injured for the past month and a half. Interesting timing on that. And again, I think Montour, honestly, I'd have it 87. I think Dunn should be higher. Maybe even Dunn 87, Montour 86. Those two both actually might be a bit too high rated. Bjorkstrand there got a +1 and now an 85. I'm looking here downgrade-wise. I think these guys are all the same. Burakovsky, though, where is he? He's the first big downgrade from 84 to 83. Tolvanen as well dropped from 84 to 83. I think, he probably should have never been as high rated as an 84. After him, you actually got the guy who just got traded for Capo Caco. Will Borgen here, dropping from 82 to 81. So, I mean, Borgen for Caco. I said it in my trade video if you guys missed it out. I think Seattle absolutely stole Capo Caco. Really good work from them. Josh Mahura here, where is he? He got a downgrade, was an 80, and now a 79. And I think Riker Evans, actually Shane Wright too, right there. He got a +1 to 79. He's looked pretty good with the Kraken this year. And Riker Evans actually almost missed. I was looking at his original rating. He was an 81, now an 83. He's looked pretty good here playing for the Kraken. Of course, this is his rookie season. 83, maybe a tad high. I'd probably have him 82 max. Again, I think I said that for most of the player ratings this video, but just across the board, they all seem a bit too high. And now next year, guys, we have the St. Louis Blues, starting off with Robert Thomas. He got a +1 upgrade, now an 89. Definitely well deserved. He's been on fire since coming back from injury. I will say, though, I mentioned, I think, every video, he should not be a 2-way forward. He should be a playmaker, one of the better playmakers in the league. Upgrade that passing to a 94. Upgrade his tape-to-tape X factor to the zone ability, but then lower his skating. I think I've also mentioned this before, but a friend of mine, I was talking to him one time, he said literally one of the slower players on his team, drop the speed and excel, all that to 86, and then get rid of the wheels X factor. I can't believe they gave him that. Change that out for the third eye. I think then that'd be perfect. He is solid defensively, but yeah, definitely player type. Should be playmaker. I'm not sure what whoever's doing these ratings was looking at. Next up, guys, we have some downgrades, unfortunately, for the St. Louis Blues. First up, though, is Holloway. We've got a +3, now an 84. Making that offer sheet look pretty good there for St. Louis. I don't know, 84 for Holloway might be a bit too much right now, but it's not too far off. After that, like I said, we just do have some downgrades. I think Broberg there got upgraded last update from 81 to 83. So they've just kept him the same since then. Now, Brandon Saad here is down by 1 to 82. You also got Toropchenko going down by 1 to 80. Same with Alexander Texier and Ryan Suter. I think all of those do make sense. And now next year, guys, we have the Tampa Bay Lightning. Starting off with Nikita Kucherov. No change for him, but I will say, I was talking about Kaprizov earlier. I personally feel like Kucherov's, at least 1 overall better than Kaprizov. So if Kaprizov's a 95, Kucherov then should be a 96 in my opinion, which is why I think it just makes more sense. Leave Kaprizov a 94, Kucher's a 95, McKinnon 96. It all makes a bit more sense, but again, this is where I just don't think the ratings quite line up. Victor Hedman got a +1, now a 93. I think Hedman's a very good defenseman. I don't think he's still a 93 overall D-man. I think that's a bit crazy. I think he's having a good year, and they're upgrading him because they already had him too high to start. In my opinion, he should be like a 91 absolute max. Braden Point there got a +1 as well, now a 93. He's one of the better snipers in the league. To have him a playmaker is quite interesting. Last year, 46 goals. The year before that, 51 goals. Again, player types not quite adding up. And speaking of that, Hedman should definitely be an offensive defenseman. Definitely, doesn't play as good defense as he used to. You got Brandon Hagel here up by 1 to 88. One of the best 5v5 players in the league. Absolutely incredible what he's done in Tampa Bay. When they originally traded for him, I thought they overpaid. Definitely did not in retrospect. What a great trade. Sorelli here as well got a +1, now an 87. He's really stepped up in the wake of, Stamkos leaving, playing that, 2C role there behind Braden Point. Obviously playing PK, plays power play. He does it all for you. One of the better two-way forwards in the league. I think Sorelli, honestly, probably deserves that rating. Maybe a touch high, but I'm honestly not too upset with it. After that, it's just some younger guys getting upgrades. No downgrades, I should mention, for the Tampa Bay Lightning. So Connor Geeky here got a +1, now an 80. And then also to, where is he? Lilberg got a +1, and now a 78. And also to Chaffee with a +3 from a 75 to 78. Now, next you guys with Toronto Maple Leafs. Surprisingly, only a few changes for them. The first one's Mitch Marner up by 1 from a 91 to a 92. Honestly, I thought he was already a 92, so I thought he would have been like a 93 now. I think you probably could make him that, like one of the better playmakers in the league. Last year, like 85 and 69s, really good. The year before that, 99, 97, and 72. This year, he's playing really well on that contract year, trying to get paid. Again, look at the other players around the league, like a Reinhardt at 93. I think Marner, you could definitely argue, is deserving of a 93. Also, too, Matthews at 95. When you look at the rest of the players around that rating, I don't know. I think Matthews is probably better than that. Nylander there, 91 still is fine. So I think there's actually only just a couple of downgrades now. Max Domi dropped by 1 to 83. And then also Max Pacioretty dropped by 1 to an 81. I thought Pacioretty was injured for a bit. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But the rest of the Leafs ratings there don't look too bad. Fraser Minton, you probably could upgrade a little bit, though, to like a 78. He's been playing, decent amount for them. And now next you guys got the Utah Hockey Club, starting off with Clayton Keller, who's still an 89. Could probably bump him up to a 90, honestly. Dylan Gunther here got a +1, now an 87. It's probably okay. It was 86 before. I think 86, 87 is good for him. Although Schmaltz here, you probably could downgrade to like an 85. Jersey there, 86 still, I think is too high rated. Probably have him like 84, 85. Cooley's now an 86. He's been pretty hot the last month or so. Again, it's probably a little bit too high in my opinion for like a younger player. Kesselin as well, he's an 84 now. I think that's a bit too high rated. Utah fans, let me know. I think 82 would have been, more than high for him. I think Marino is probably the more established, better defenseman. Michelli there is down by 1, was 84, now an 83. I think there's also a couple other downgrades. Lawson Krause was an 83 and now an 82. And I think as well, you got a couple more changes here. So Utah, they actually did some work. Carconi down by 1 from an 81 to 80. And then Lamoureux here actually up by 3 from a 76 to a 79. And I believe that is it there for Utah. And our next up, guys, we got the Vancouver Canucks. Obviously a team that, EA loves to overrate. We'll see what they do here, though. So starting off, we got Quinn Hughes now at 95. He got a +1 rating. This ties him with Cale Makar. You guys let me know in the comments section. Do you think Hughes and Makar should be tied? Do you think Makar should be 1 higher? I would either have them tied or maybe Makar 1 overall higher. It's close though for sure. I think Makar's a little bit better offensively, and then also I think he's a little bit better defensively, so I think I would give him that +1, but definitely it should be close, like no more than a 1 overall difference. JT Miller there, not touched. Pettersson, surprisingly not touched, but I think he was higher rated than this to start the year, like a 91, maybe 92, so I want to say they dropped him in that, secret last roster update. After that, look at the rest of the guys. Hronek here, 86. I believe he was 87, maybe even 88 to start the year, so they definitely downgraded him. Now, DeBrusk got a +1. He's an 86. Now, he's been playing pretty well. I think 85 probably still would have been fair. This one I think is kind of dumb. Dakota Joshua, they downgraded from an 83 to 82. This dude beat cancer in the summer. He's just come back. He hasn't even played a full 30 games yet this year. He's obviously, still getting back into the rhythm. His body probably still hasn't fully 100% recovered from the cancer, so I think downgrading a guy who just beat cancer after 18 games is a bit harsh. That's just my personal opinion, though. Looking at the rest of the guys here, let's see. Sherwood got a +1, now an 82. Obviously, been playing unreal this year. I don't know what came over him. Just leading in hits, I see. He's got, a hat trick the other night. Crazy. I think 82 is fine. Suter there got a +1 as well. Now an 83. It's probably fine. I think he probably is more of like an 82 guy, but whatever. Desharnais here got a downgrade. Was an 80, now a 79. I'm not really sure why he was ever higher than a 79. I feel like he was always a 79 with the Oilers, got traded with Canucks, and all of a sudden got an upgrade. Look at the Vegas Golden Knights now, guys. Eichel here got a big upgrade. Now a 93. He's been on fire this year. Looking incredible with the Vegas Golden Knights, so I think that's definitely deserved. Mark Stone here also got a +1, now a 91. Was leading the league in points until he got injured. Should be one of the better two-way players in the game. Yeah, 93 D awareness and stick check there. That's good to see. Shea Theodore as well got a +1, 89 overall. I think he's top 5 in defensive scoring, so another guy definitely well deserved. Having him, same rating as Pietrangelo is probably fine, but again, mentioning, top 5 defensive scoring, probably make him an offensive defenseman would make a bit more sense to me. And speaking of that, you could probably do the same here with Zach Werenski. They also have as a two-way D-man. And now behind him, guys, you got Barbashev here, also up in rating, now an 88. So he's a guy, I think his production is mostly based on the fact that he's playing top line with Jack Eichel, with Mark Stone. I think you kind of can just figure that out intuitively, like if you look at anything other than the stats. So 88 for him does seem a bit much. Like last year he had 45 points, and we're giving this guy an 88 based off hot start to the year when his star players on his line are obviously playing really well in Eichel and Stone. I think Barbashev for me, I'd have 86 max, but welcome to debate it with you guys. Carlson there actually dropped in rating by 1, now an 85. I think that is okay. Now look at the rest of the Golden Knights here. Whitecloud's actually down in rating by 1 to an 81. Holt as well got downgraded to an 81. I would give him lowly potential still, being a former top 10 pick. And then Korczak here is actually up in rating, now a 78, so he should grow a bit more in franchise. And now next you guys got the Washington Capitals. Alex Ovechkin's 90 overall. He's not listed as being changed, but I know for a fact he was an 89 to start the year, so he got a +1 during that secret, ratings upgrade. So we got a +1 from that secret roster update. Dylan Strome as well. He was like an 85, maybe 86 to start the year, now an 88. Not listed on the sheet in terms of changed players, so another guy that got boosted during that secret update. In terms of the first player actually boosted here, I think it's going to be Protis. Was an 84, now an 85. He was looking pretty hot there for a bit. I think he slowed down, though. 85 is probably too much for him. I think 84 is more fair. Connor McMichael, for instance, is performing better. I think he probably deserves the 85 more. After that, you do have some other upgrades, though. Mangiapane, though, is actually their only downgrade from 83 to an 82. Luckily, only 1 year left on the deal. I actually flew by him. Tom Wilson here got a +1. Was an 84, now an 85. I remember when Tom Wilson was even higher rated than that. Dubois down to 83. He's not listed here on being changed. He must have gotten changed in that secret update. I think Dubois deserves at least an 84, if not 85. It's not that bad. And yeah, guys, I just double checked. Dubois is on pace for about 55 points this season. In my mind, that's like an 85 player, especially when, he's had success in the past. Now, Taylor Radish here, he's actually got an upgrade. Was an 80, now an 81. Same goes for a couple more guys here. TJ Oshie probably could be LTIR'd. I don't know if he'll ever play again, but Vrana here got a +1, now a 79. Miroshnichenko here also got a +1, now a 78. And now finally here, guys, we got the Winnipeg Jets. Kyle Connor there, 92. Not listed for being changed, but I know for a fact another guy, he started at 91, so in that secret update, he got a +1. Morrissey's now a 91. I like Morrissey. That seems a bit high, though. I don't know. I feel like for me, he's an 89, 90 kind of guy. I would have him around Werenski, I think. Scheifele here now a 91. Obviously, a very hot start to the season. Probably fine. Ehlers up to an 88. Ehlers is a guy that they usually underrate, so good to see him finally getting some respect. Neil Pionk there up to an 87 now. It's probably okay. Cole Perfetti there, 86. Seems maybe a bit high, but not too bad. Adam Lowry there got a +1 from 84 to 85. Let's see. Defensively, they have him pretty good, which is nice to see. I think that actually might be it for the Jets. It was like all their top players getting upgraded, and yeah, they have no one getting downgraded. So just going to quickly show you guys the rest, and then next year we'll actually move on to the goalies. So you got Gibson and Dostal and Anaheim, both 85s. Dostal actually got a +1. I would definitely probably have them both the same rating because they're a tandem. I would make them, I think, 84s, though, with Dostal having elite potential. Like, he's obviously put up great numbers this year. After that, Boston, I don't believe we've seen any changes. Maybe Corby Salo got an upgrade, though, in the secret update. I don't remember him being an 83 to start the year. That probably is a little bit too high. Luukkonen 86, Reimer 81. Luukkonen's probably a touch high. The Flames here, Dustin Wolfson 84, Vladosh 82. They've basically split the games all year. I think they should both be like 83, would probably be more fair. Hurricanes here, Kochekov actually got a downgrade from 86 to 85. he was probably a bit too high anyways, but he got elite potential, which I don't think he had before, so that is good to see. Chicago, nothing in this update. I'm not sure if they maybe touched it last time. The Avalanche, of course, have Blackwood now as starting goalie. Wedgwood there as the backup, and Blackwood actually did get a +1. He's actually been playing, pretty well, especially with the bad team in front of him. I think he'll do a lot better now with the Avs. Columbus Blue Jackets here. Mers Lincoln's got a downgrade. Was an 83, now an 82. I think I mentioned in my ratings review video to start the year that he was too high rated. Like, his numbers just aren't there. Andres a 91 now. He got a +1 rating. Definitely well deserved. Detroit here. Talbot got a +1 now, an 86. He's been the bright spot on a pretty dark team this year. Oilers here, no changes. Panthers there. Bobrovsky actually down by 1 from 89 to 88. Spencer Knight here, I definitely would have at lowly potential at this point. Also, I would downgrade him a bit from that 82. Kemper got a +1 now, an 83. He's been playing pretty well. Could probably even make him an 84. Riddick as well wasn't too terrible when he stepped in during Kemper's injury. Could probably bump him to like an 81. Gustafson here got a +2, now 87. He's looked really good this season. After that, Montreal Canadiens here. Montembeault got a +1 and now an 84. After that, you got the Nashville Predators. I don't think any change to Saros there. Of course, Inuin on the team now as the backup. 80 overall there. Medium starter is the same. Devils here. Markstrom got a +1, now an 89. I don't know if Markstrom should be quite that high. It just seems a bit too much. Sorokin there, no change. Varlamov actually dropped in rating by 1 from 84 to 83. Shesterkin there and Quick, no changes. I would have Shesterkin, I think, a 94 though. Centers here, Allmark 88. I believe they downgraded him in the secret update because he had a pretty bad start to the year. All of a sudden though, he's been playing pretty good recently, so 88's probably fine. Maybe like 89 would be a bit better. Forsberg here, I believe, actually dropped in rating by 1 from 82 to 81. The Flyers here, no changes. Urson should probably be like an 81, I think. The Flyers goaltending, look at the numbers. It's not very good. Penguins here, I know for a fact, Jari, they dropped by like 4 in that November update from an 86 to 82. It's probably a little bit harsh. Probably at least leave him like an 83. Starting to look a bit better. Speaking of that note, Nedeljkovic just got dropped by 1 from 82 to 81. Jari's starting to look like the starter, so yeah, I'd probably go 83, 81 at least. Jari, if you want to be nicer, can even leave 84. Vanacek, Georgiev, 82, 81. Georgiev, it's probably a bit harsh based, again, on, 15 starts for this season. I'd probably have them both at least, 82s. Decord here, 86. I believe that's an upgrade for him. And then Grubauer got a downgrade. Pretty good, I think. St. Louis there, no changes. Tampa Bay Lightning as well, no changes. Toronto Maple Leafs, Wool and Stollers both got upgrades by +1. They probably both should be like 83s because neither of them's I think 84 is like a low-end starter. They're more like high-end backups. They're like a tandem, right? So I think kind of similar to the Flames. I said Wolf and Vladosh each 83. I think that makes more sense for them too. Now Utah, here's a weird one, guys. They were both 83 overalls before this update. Now Vejmelka's 84, Ingram's 82. I think a month ago or more, Vejmelka had the better numbers, but one win on the year where Ingram had worse numbers, more wins. I think they're going with Vejmelka now, so I think this is fine. Obviously, last year was the opposite. Ingram ended up being the start of a Vejmelka backup, so even if they were the same, I don't think that'd be too terrible. Now look at the Canucks here. Demko there stays at 91, which probably fine. Maybe make him like a 90. Vejmelka here gets a +2 to 84. He came in when Demko was injured and played pretty well, but obviously he is a backup. I think that's probably a bit much. I think he could have stayed at 82 and just realized, came in for the starter who was injured. Vegas here has Hill going up to an 84, which again, I think is fine. Same with Samsonov's rating there. Washington Capitals are the last team. Logan Thompson up by 1 to 85. Lindgren's down by 1 to 83. Again, I think that does make sense. So goaltending-wise, not too bad. Hellebuck here's a 94. Like I said, I would make Shesterkin a 94 as well, but yeah, overall, the goaltender ratings aren't too bad. The final thing here, guys, we'll quickly just go through all these CHL teams and see kind of what they have the prospects looking like. Did they upgrade them based on performance this year, as well as what the mock drafts are looking like? Yakimchuk there, I'd probably make offensive defenseman. I think I mentioned that in my Sens video. Joe Ginla should be top 6, not elite. Good to see DuPont, though, still has the franchise. Honestly, I'm wondering how much they even touch these guys. Usually the prospects kind of don't get too much love. Jaeger should be a sniper there. Gavin McKenna, low franchise. So I think this is an error. I've seen it happen before with elite players. Somehow they just accidentally go one over and don't catch their mistake. Basically, they didn't proofread the roster. McKenna definitely should still be a medium franchise. Moose Jaw there, Portland here. Looking to see if there's any big changes with potentials, but I'm not really seeing too much. Patton there, elite potential still, which is nice. Caswell, they finally downgraded. Gavin's a medium top 6 instead of elite. That's also good to see. And I'll take a quick look here at the OHL. Just again, Martone 77 elite. I think that's what he was before. Erie there, Schaefer 73 should probably be higher rated than that because he's supposed to actually be fighting potentially first overall this year. Spence as well. I don't think I'd have elite. I have him high top 6 probably at most. Keep going through here, guys. London Knights, Dickinson, of course, is elite. Niagara, they got Rubric there, elite. Wansland, medium top 6. You could probably make him a high top 6. Rubric could maybe even be A high elite, honestly. North Bay, Ty Nelson should be on Coachella. He's not in the OHL anymore. Seneca high top 6 is fine. Richie, of course, got the ratings upgrade once. Played some games there with the Avs. When Sound doesn't really have anyone anymore. Saginaw, Misa 74, another guy I'd have him higher rated, more close to Martone. Perek elite is good. Diorio should be elite potential. This guy probably going to go pretty high. There's another guy too on Sarnia I think could be elite. The Sioux, really nobody. Sudbury, Quentin Musty, I'd probably have high top 6. Belchet's their elite, that's good to see. Green Tree should be a sniper, but okay, not too bad. McKenna, like I said, I think was just literally an error. And I'll look at the queue here quickly as well, guys. There's one guy in particular I'm curious to see what they have his potential and his rating, because supposed to be top 6, maybe even top 5, depending how the rest of the year goes. So we'll just go through. Dumais there looks not too bad. Moncton, okay, Desnoyers, 71, medium top 6. Not bad. I probably would make him a bit higher, and again, I'd make him like a high top 6. They really seem to hate the high... Zachary Moore and low franchise. That is an interesting one there as well. Is he supposed to be medium franchise? I don't think he's quite that good, so interesting. And actually, guys, with the junior teams, there's one more thing I wanted to check. That's the goalies. So on Prince George here, you got Joshua Ravensbergen, low elite potential. I'm hoping, like McKenna, this is an error. He's supposed to be medium elite, as he's literally projected to be a first-round goalie pick with low elite potential. He's not going to get picked until like the 4th round or something. So that's really dumb if that's actually the potential that they gave him. Ivankovic here, he's medium elite. He's projected to go 2nd round. So again, those guys should be tied, if not Ravensbergen, with the higher potential. And I'm curious to see if they've actually fixed Daigle yet, because Daigle has not been looking, too good this season. Even last year was kind of meh. They still have elite potential. So yeah, they definitely need to work on the prospect goalies a bit. And then finally here, guys, I'm curious to see if they finally fixed Frondell. They did not. He's still a left winger, even though he's literally a center. So they can't get everything right, apparently. But that is it, guys, for the December roster update. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts on all the rating changes. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, leave that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.